NPL football here in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. My name is William Bennett, and alongside me tonight, because apparently we need a mate, Michael Thompson. Michael.
It's good to call alongside you, William. I've seen your calls over the journey, but finally you and I get to share the commentary booth together tonight.
Yes, hopefully we'll be able to link up a fair bit tonight. And speaking of linking up, what do you reckon about tonight's game?
I think tonight's game's going to be good. I think it's going to be really close between the two teams. Heidelberg, even though they've got more experience on the park than what Box Hill do, as we spoke to the media guy from Box Hill about 5 minutes ago, it's a younger brigade out there, but they've come so close over the last couple of weeks. I still think Heidelberg might have the wood over them tonight, but the experience might come to play. But I think it'll be a really good game, and it's a good litmus test for Box Hill United in this one.
Very much there, Michael. Very much got the nail on the head there. Box Hill, of course, very unfortunate last weekend not to walk away from Cross Keys without at least the points. This weekend, I'm sure, more than anything, that Bobby's Drop and his Pythagorean side are very much keen to get out there, finally get some points. It's been a long season for them so far. Very little to be overly cheerful about, especially when the last points are at home. That was technically a month ago. And considering that we are now, that's week 7, something's got to give, especially when we're on the cusp of seeing all our A-League talents return, playing winter football back in suburban leagues.
Absolutely, and we're coming to the crescendo. The A-League Grand Finals on this weekend, which is going to be a cracker in Melbourne. We know that the A-League Finals are in full swing too. The Melbourne Derby, Sunday 5 p.m. Looking forward to Kim Icefield on that one too, but it's good now that we'll finally get to see a bit more experience, a bit more A-League talent, and come back to their respective clubs for the duration of the season.
Oh, 100%, and all that football in action is sure to be tastier than the canteen here. Without any further ado, let's crack into the team lineups. Starting with the visitors, we have number 2, Lily French, number 5, Ellie Tora, number 7, the Heidelberg captain, Stephanie Galea, number 8, Catherine Laopoulos, number 9, Kelly Lockhart, number 11, the Frenchwoman, Margot Rabin, number 12, Daniela Galuccio, number 14, Asuka Miata, number 15, Olivia Edwards, number 17, Nicolina Musto, and in goals, number 21, Mia Bailey. As for our hosts this evening, in goal, we start off, as they've usually done this year, for number 1, Natasha Satopoulos, number 4, the Box Hill captain, Olivia Ellis, number 6, Zoe Hudson, number 7, Chi Ting, number 10, Mariam Anbari, number 12, Bridie Cooling, number 13, Linda Slojewski, number 14, Suku Doi, number 26, Maua Samuro, number 27, Nicolina Brutzlow, and number 44, to round off the starting 11, Aisha Duplace.
It's a good lineup for both Box Hill and Heidelberg. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can use with their bench. In particular, I know there's a lot of young stars on the bench too. Victoria Zeka staying on the bench tonight, who I've caught a couple of her games in Box Hill colours. She is an absolute star of the competition, but she'll be coming off the bench most likely tonight. He will.
Zeka certainly an incredible young talent. In some ways, it's been unfortunate that we don't see more of her, given her talent and abilities as a footballer. Of course, she's got the great advantage of being at her age, be able to get out there, get the job done, and have such a bright future ahead of her, which I'm sure we'll see her for another 10, 15 years, which will be very, very exciting, especially if she can stay here at Wembley, given that she's been such a key part of the Box Hill's development programme for so many seasons. Anyway, as we have kicked off, a strong early chance for the visitors, stuffed out by our far side assistant referee. Of course, speaking of refs, always nice to give a nice little shout out for our refereeing departments, led by Rohan Nayashaw, as we have Shaham Saroush and Faiz Mohammadi on the sidelines. And on board duty tonight, we have Jackson Trundle to round us all off.
The tough job, the 4th officials, that's for sure. Not a mathematician myself, Will, but thankfully they are and we're not.
All I can say is, good thing it's not me. It's the reason I dropped maths when I did.
Sounds like me in high school. I dropped maths in year 12.
Year 12, you're ambitious. Edwards, Lena back in the play after the ball. Escaped the field of play. Now very naughty of that ball indeed. Sutopoulos get her first touch of the evening. Certainly a very handy pair of gloves. Something that both clubs will be very much aware of her abilities. Of course, Natasha was with Heidelberg last season. And as I've said multiple times, having her games this year, she's very much one of the best keeping talents within the league. And in my mind, she was top dog in goals last season.
Absolutely. I was going to say Ava Walters is someone who's on the bench for Heidelberg, formerly of Box Hill herself, so she knows this park very, very well, Will.
Indeed. Certainly, in many ways, it's a bit unfortunate that we don't get to see Walters tonight, at least starting off. Perhaps we might see a bit later on. Nonetheless, it's always nice to see a bit of a crossover between the clubs. And again, the advancements of Lewis Reese's Heidelberg caught offside once more. That's fantastic to see that momentum, that pace, that desire just to get in there and do it.
Absolutely. I think that's Nicolina Mustow's second offside too, so she's been a little bit overzealous in the early goings, but I don't mind her endeavour in the early goings to this game.
At least it's better to be overzealous on the pitch. It's the best place for it.
Absolutely.
Interesting opportunity starting to open up here as we see Galuccio try to help load up her forward and midfield areas. Of course, we do see our first corner of the evening, so it's something always nice to kick off that tally nice and early. As up for the short corner, boom, yes, have a crack. I suppose maybe that's why I'm here behind a mic and not out there myself. I don't know how to take a corner properly.
What was your soccer career like, Will, back when you were a youngster?
I'll put it this way. The only record I broke was a roof. As we see Lockhart trying to swing it in towards goals for her side. A crack from a little bit outside the box there from Margot Rabin. Of course, the long-time mercenary of Victorian football, originally from France. Very much a key addition to this Heidelberg side, at least for this campaign. Of course, she also played a major role in Burundari's very successful season last year, as well as in their time within the BPL. So we all know what she can do. I reckon that first shot, it's going to be one of many, as we all know what Rabin loves to do. Shoot, shoot, and shoot some more.
It was a fantastic curl in with that cross. I didn't mind that shot as well from outside the 18-yard box, and fortunately it wasn't to be though, but hopefully it stands the test of like it being a full attacking game from both Box Hill and Heidelberg. We know that both teams have attacking power on either ends of the park, so we'll see who has better of this in the early going to this game in particular.
Yes. Certainly don't want to be facing Lockhart and her boot too often. Certainly one of the nicest figures in the league. She's absolutely brutal on the pitch. Anywho, back with Edwards for the throw. Throw blocked by Brutzelo. Again, Edwards places back in, perhaps a little bit low, and as that tackle as well. Mariam Vari, a fresh addition this season for Box Hill, as we see our first booking of the evening.
Major collision there between Duplessis and Olivia Edwards. Just unfortunate though in the end.
Yes, Edwards certainly having a bit of a tough year with her knee this season. I mean, coming off the start of the year with a knee injury, a few struggles last weekend in her 2-1 defeat against South Melbourne. A couple of knocks in that game as well. Hopefully she is alright. She's just a little bit bruised, but certainly keen to get back in there. We've been with the free kick, showing some gloves at Stanopoulos, but again we see that fantastic curl from Bean. Truly tastier than a curly whirly, that curl. Putslow finds Anvari. Anvari trying to break out in the midfield. Can't get past her line. Has the chance for Lockhart's return and go. As long as she can beat Putslow. So also support by the boot of French. Long ball in towards Musto, the American.
Can say that Musto was onside there after 2 offsides previously in this game.
Certainly nice to see that she's got her timing and bang on this time. Unfortunately, couldn't get the touch away. It is very much burgers at this stage. Which is ironic in a way, because I've never seen a burger in this canteen. Plenty of soups though. A few HSPs. Tor plays across for Galuccio. Galuccio tries to get the short option in to a midfielder, but it's caught by Box Hill. As we see, Hudson play wide for the Police. Police making great use there of Bridie calling the Tasmanian. Edwards tries to send the long ball into Lockhart. Lockhart can't quite get the full touch he needs. With Bean back for Edwards, still within the opposing half. Rizzo sends it forward for Galea. Galea, unfortunate not to get the touch there. The opposing captain in Olivia Ellis, a long time assassin of Box Hill.
Didn't mind that extra cross in there for Steph Galea, but again, 2-on-1. Most of the time, the 2 defenders are going to beat out the 1 striker in that situation. So, unfortunate for the skipper of Heidelberg, but again, Heidelberg are probably looking like they're the ones that are controlling this possession game a bit more than what Box Hill are right now, which is really good to see in the early goings. A bit more control with the ball too.
Indeed, and while they certainly do have the numbers in terms of percentage of control, possession, so on and so forth, it all comes to naught if you can't take the best of your opportunities. Of course, Box Hill certainly not doing too much in their favour at this stage of the game. But as we have seen, they can get forward. And given the lights to say from Duplice, pretty much in front of the throw. And of course, her fantastic goal last weekend against Essendon. So, one or two things to check upon as this game progresses.
And they're probably the better team last week, Box Hill, in that 2-1 loss to the Essendon Royals in that second half. Like, they had all the possession, they scored the goal. They were probably unlucky to equalise and try and at least steal some sort of point away from home. But again, you live and you learn by this young team.
Now, certainly the thing about football, it can be unbelievably cruel, as Edwards has a shot in on goal itself, caught by Stanopoulos, almost under firm pressure from Lockhart, a second slower. In terms of the keeper's reaction, and it could have been 1-0 Burgers. And speaking of Lockhart, narrowly caught offside there, very unfortunate. It certainly shows how eager this Heidelberg side is to make up for the defeat last weekend and show us to slip up. We're going to carry on with our year and do what we do best.
That's the 3rd offside now for the game for Heidelberg.
I thought you didn't do maths, Michael.
Well, maths is okay. Just probably adding more so is probably the worst thing for me. Counts is not too bad for me. More my strong suit than adding stuff up.
I'm just glad to go through calculus.
What's calculus?
Torture for teenagers?
I'll take your word for it.
Chance for visitors break as we see Velopoulos send it along, hoping to either find the likes of Galea or Rabin. Then caught by Salopoulos. As we already mentioned, Heidelberg very much aware of her talent, given that she was their #1 last season. At least for the bulk of it, given the high rate of competition among their keeping division. Opus tries to find the switch in, can't get beyond the head of Ting, Taiwanese international. They could be on here, given the deflection off the boot of the fullback. Throws played in, finds Velopoulos. Swung into the box. Velopoulos, only one there to make that ball. And belts it she does. And Bari, bit of a shove there. Got to be careful given earlier indiscretion. Well, certainly Anvari is one of the more talented players in terms of tackling ability and just getting in there, no nonsense. That ball's mine.
Unlucky there from Anvari. I thought it was probably the right idea, but again, you got to be too sometimes you can be too cautious and things like that, and sometimes you get caught out. Unfortunately, that situation she got caught out there.
And speaking of Anvari, of course, this weekend is her birthday. One of a few players across both teams that have had or about to have a birthday. So, of course, all of us here at FB, a very happy birthday, Mariam. Cooley tries to play forward into the team, caught by the midfield of Heidelberg. The Lucho playing back into her keeper. Of course, near Bailey, getting the starting gloves for tonight. Lockhart to Rabin. Rabin tries to play back into Lockhart. She's got space, she's onside. Can she get this ball in? Shots on the switch. Can't find her. Finds the ball of Hudson. Hudson rolling the ball out for a corner. And so another fantastic opportunity for the visitors to try and open the scoring line and give us something all go a little bit mental over.
Good work from Zoe Hudson there. Stop the momentum temporarily for Heidelberg, as the Burgers now will set themselves up for this corner kick, you will.
Hudson certainly been one of the great international signings within the league this season. Bit of a bubble within the box. Can someone do something with it? Unfortunate touch there from French. Can't quite get the volley she needs. And says volley it over the crossbar. Unfortunately, nil point. Volley do get a ball back for the goal kick. And Salopoulos looks just to find how she wants it instead, giving the hurry up whistle from our referee, just touch and go. Putslow with the throw for box. Finds to Place. Place can't control it, giving it a little bit of distraction there from Edwards. And a slight little tap from behind. Certainly nothing too aggressive or serious. Edwards herself now with the throw. And she looks for the option. Goes long. Edwards certainly got a fantastic pair of arms on her as she gets distance whenever she needs. Chance here for Rabin. Snubbed out by Hudson. And Bari, pretty much banging the midfield. Plays wide for Doy. Doy can't control it. Back from Heidelberg. Is it sent long? try and find with a beam. Set back forward by Slidreski. Butzlow. Push by Lockhart. Up for Hudson. Hudson into the long ball for Duplace. Duplace just managed to keep it in. She's got a bell past Edwards. Goes for the cross ball in. Should have got a little bit of error on that one. You can try and hit Anvari. In the end, just a throw for Box.
I think Box Hill starting to set themselves up nicely now, so we'll see what they can do with this front on pressure. And as I say that, commentators curse their will. Sometimes they need to shut up when possession's been run like that by Box Hill, and Heidelberg will get possession back there through Olivia Edwards.
Unfortunately, hindsight is not the blessing of a commentator. Of course, for you all at home, to make sure you're not being naughty, we know what you're up to with the old 30-second delay, which of course is industry standard practice. We do often get called out in these little moments. See Samora playing to Ting. Ting goes back to the near side wing for Butzlow. Butzlow sends the ball forward from Doig. Doig probably isn't going to get to this one. She's doing well to try and battle and gain possession. Butzlow interrupting the pass into Lockhart. Car control, boot of Lockhart, back into Butzlow, out over the sideline, Heidelberg throw.
I think what Box Hill are doing well too, they're just controlling, they're making sure to slow things down a little bit too. Heidelberg playing with a bit more speed. Box Hill want to play with a bit more of a slow burn just to see if that works out well. And if you can try and halt the speed of Heidelberg, it puts you in good stead here.
Certainly plenty of pace in this Heidelberg side. As we see Lockhart threaten, so I suppose do a bit of a Vin Diesel and rev her engines. Just a quick throw there from Hudson. This line is belted clear by Edwards. And so back to our regular right side throw from Butzlow. The short throw into Doig. Doig plays back into Butzlow. Butzlow opts for Samoro. Plays to Ellis, who swings it forward to the box. Can Anvari get there? No, she shan't. Baylor's there first. All too comfortably. Just sizing up who, what, where, why. And just a short rolling pass to her half back in Torre. Duplace. Plays off Anvari. Anvari out wide once more to Butzlow. Butzlow does well to avoid sliding challenge from Lockhart. Lockhart eventually coming up the truck though after the touch off Duplace. Ellis. Stoyevsky. Up the team, only briefly though. Also got to be very, very careful here as Cooley tries the battle off Rabin. Chase for Anvari, called offside.
Unlucky. Just decided to take that one step extra before that last defender there, unfortunately, will for Anvari. And again, just got caught offside, but good awareness there by the linesman just to keep an eye on her footing there. And yeah, Anvari was off to the races before that last defender started going off too.
Certainly, always do appreciate a lino with a keen eye. Unfortunately for some of us, not exactly 2020.
I'm starting to lose my eyesight anyway, so it's the one thing I probably should start doing, start wearing my glasses a bit more, Will, like yourself.
Oh well, pace speaks Spexy. Good opportunity play-wise for Heidelberg. They can just keep numbers in their favour. Unfortunately, Box Hill do break. They can only briefly get so as far as Anvari. Can't control there. And so, as we see the end of the first 20 minutes, Michael, what do you make of things so far?
First 20 minutes has been good. Probably more, we've seen more possession from Heidelberg. The last couple of minutes in particular has been on Box Hill's end. They've slowed things down a little bit to Box Hill, which is really good to see too, because in the first 5 minutes of the contest, you'd see Heidelberg been using a lot more of their speeds, and Box Hill have been able to sort of hold that momentum at the best of times, and credit where credit is due. They haven't been able to score yet. Olivia Edwards has probably been the X factor so far for Heidelberg on the pitch right now. She's been in almost every contest. She's about to go again here, but again, just really good to see Box Hill really hold their own in the first 20 minutes of this one, Will.
Certainly, you're right to pick out Edwards there. She has been absolutely spectacular for Heidelberg this evening. Certainly, taking 1 or 2 challenges for the team as well. One of our number of players who've had recent birthdays has been last weekend. So it's always interesting how statistically, when you're in a team, birthdays you tend to cluster around particular months. And there is maths behind it, there is studies, because someone apparently has got too much money, too much time to fund things like that. But it is mathematically proven that if you're in a group together, statistically you're more likely to share birthdays.
It's not a bad stat. Thankfully, my birthday is in the warmer months of the year, so I'm very happy that they've decided to statistically stay around the December, January area before going into like October, November.
It's all right for some. Ellis sends forward Ting. Ting's got a chase though. Certainly plenty more space there for Galuccio. She's got time to think, reacts, and play back into Bailey. And with a shake of a lamb's tail already back to Sadopoulos. That's from one keeper to the other. Almost like watching a game of tennis. Indeed, speaking of tennis, looking at the pitch tonight, you think, well, surely you can have a late game of lawn tennis on here. It's very much quite short.
Well, I was going to say we're in the midst of almost the French Open, of course Wimbledon happening as they generally do 2 weeks after each other, so we've getting to that time of year, Will, where we're going from clay to what we see now, which is grass. Now, I don't mind the grass season when it comes to tennis. Massive fan of Wimbledon tennis when it's happening every June.
I just like the apple. Tomorrow, can't link up with Ting there. Presently, it is with Mr. Bean, unable to beat Samuro there. As Samuro's gone to ground, gains the free kick. Woodslow, tailed by Lockhart, sends it forward for the place. Can't quite get there in time. Line cleared by Tor. Of course, while wet throw, a good opportunity to give a little shout out to the Heidelberg team manager, Hickey Tor. So Tor's all around. Certainly someone who is very much a commentator's delight, given how rapidly and keenly she's to get the score list out for us all to enjoy. So please crap. Denied by Bailey. Again, she's got her tripping boots on. Still yet to find out the question whether or not Box Hill have been bring some dip for these chips. Chance for Joy. As a crack, denied by Bailey.
Didn't mind that from Doy. Good attempt on the right there. Getting Bailey able to sort of get down and stop that ground ball from going. I think maybe Doy might have just needed to put a bit more pressure on that, or a bit more power on that ball, I should say. And probably would have gone in for Box Hill if she maybe put a little bit more power into it too. She had a bit more space, so she could have taken maybe a couple more steps, and she could have taken a breath or so. She had 3 seconds, probably more that she could have used to her advantage. But again, when you got a defender running behind you, you panic at the last minute and just shooting similar darts. Will, hopefully it sticks.
Well, certainly, I think it's fantastic to see Box Hill finally getting a few chances, given how much they struggled to keep together in a half, the first 5-10 minutes or so. Yeah, so I feel a bit more even, a bit more like Box Hill last weekend. Unfortunately for them last week, It took the whole 45 to get in the gear, get into action. But certainly great that they're finally certainly having a few answers for what they need to be doing, given that they've struggled all season. Only picked up a solitary win, all the points they've got so far. And while, yes, not far away from seeing our A-League Hearts come in, you've still got a whole squad. You can't rely on the hope of all. Our A-League Hearts coming in, they'll do the job for us. The whole other season prior to that, effectively, given how these things shift the dynamics so drastically, all too easily, you've got to think, surely, by now, they've got a few answers to a few of those lingering questions in round one.
It's, if I'm to use a quick NBL 1 terminology here too, Nadia Pocher got picked up by the Atlanta Dream in the WNBA. The Dandenong Rangers now have to try and start using the other players on the floor to see if they can actually try and stop, or they can try and utilise them so they don't heavily rely on Nadia Poch, as they've generally done over the course of the season so far. But we know there's only a couple more games before she heads over and starts training with the Atlanta Dream over in America, and hopefully puts on a jersey and starts playing for the Dream in the WNBA season. So there's a little bit of basketball terminology too, where they're very heavy reliant on like the one player, but try and make sure he can spread the load a bit.
And speaking of Dreams, Corley had one or two there for herself, has a crack either target. Certainly nice to see a bit of rotation upon those having a crack for Box Hill, trying to get the opener as we creep closer and closer to the half-hour mark, so not too far away.
Heidelberg's been on the back foot the last couple of minutes too, so it's been good now that Box Hill have been able to slow the game down, as I've been mentioning over the course of the coverage so far, and really keep it in their front half.
Certainly the compass has swung in favour of Box. Still can't exactly guess into the position they need to. Of course, football, it's more than just goals. It's not just that last 5%, it's that full 95 up until you can even think about shooting. However, in Box Hill's case, in their curse, if you will, they can do the full 90, 95 to get forward. That last little 5-10% has been lacking. Bootslow there, denying the chance for Lockhart to run in on goal. Or it seems like the first time Heidelberg's been able to get forward in ages.
It's been a good 5 to 7 minutes, Will, from mine. The last couple of shots have gone the way of the home side on the right-hand side of your TVs, laptops, phones, computer screens, wherever you're watching the coverage tonight. And again, Box Hill pressing here, which is good to see.
So whatever hopes they had there for a corner, snuffed out. It's however quick to get them back on the back foot. They can't escape from their own half, as if the momentums of both sides have drastically switched around, as if someone's flicked on a light switch that no one saw. Chance for Corn to get forward. Swiftly denied with the clearance off the boot of Galluccio.
I think Zoe Hudson might play a key part down back. I think she's going to be almost like the general down there tonight for Box Hill, to try and keep Heidelberg at bay from scoring any goals. Like, I think they'll need to play through Zoe Hudson tonight, who's been really good in the early going to this game.
Certainly they've got to be careful not to rely on Hudson too much, while she very much is a half-back. You've seen her play very much as a full-back, time and time again, more so out of matters of circumstance. And we can see her press up the wing if she needs to and provide that extra further support. However, you can't be relying on your defenders to set up these goals if they could. And that's what Box are really careful of. Because Heidelberg, they're quick, they're smart, they know exactly what they need to do time and time again. And they will catch them out if they're not careful.
If the battle can be won through the midfield for Box Hill, then that's at least half the battle won. because Heidelberg have a really solid midfield as they do now.
Indeed, certainly I wouldn't want to go head-to-head with their midfield. Especially when you've got lots of, say, Lockhart, Bean to deal with. You've got Tor, who can come up forward from a more advanced defensive position, full that supports, and the extra layer of just X factor, if you will. And of course, there is always the ever stalwart captain, Steph Galea. But I wouldn't want to face her wind, rain, or sun. Looks like with the throw-in, can't get past the head of Edwards. It was making great use of her height advantage. So it has a few inches on almost all this Box Hill side.
And then for Heidelberg, I mentioned Zoe Hudson being sort of the key down back, but up forward and through the middle, you play through Muster and potentially Olivia Edwards if you're Heidelberg, because they've both been probably the stand so far.
And speaking of Edwards, she swings that ball well into the box. Xenopus not overly challenged, but very much forced to respond. I think that's one thing that Heidelberg has been consistently firm upon throughout this fixture so far, particularly throughout the first 10-15 minutes of this game. Putting those challenges, not so much having shots on goal, as per se, but making the keeper have to respond, have to react. If the keeper's working hard, that rapidly increases the chance of them slipping up, making an error, and leading to the goal. And certainly, if you took the whole half into account, given the balance of play, you'd think, surely, if anyone's going to get on before half time, it's going to be our visitors tonight.
And I think the one thing Box Hill don't want to do is concede a goal in the first half, because it took them a little while to get going last week in their 2-1 loss to Essendon. And as I said, I watched the game back this afternoon. It probably was the last sort of 25 minutes or so of that second half where Box Hill really won most of the possession and ended up getting that goal, but again couldn't tie things up too. So if they could try and keep themselves in this position to try and stop Heidelberg from, or trying for them to try and stop conceding in the first half, and put them in good stead, because their last 25-30 minutes of games, Box Hill this season, it's really, really good. And if they can do it while it's near law, then they put themselves in a very good position to try and beat a well-experienced Heidelberg team tonight.
Yeah, certainly this Burger side very much in contention for finals come the later end of this season. Always very much one of those teams where you can safely say they're going to be up there year after year. And speaking of getting up there, chance for to try and get forward. Soleski doing well to keep her back. Xenopoulos, not a great deal of support, does manage to find Samoro. Almost caught by Rabin there, cooling, tries to play wide for Ting. Ting not going to get there in time. Throw French. French certainly making great use of her throwing arms as well. Of course, both French and Edwards, they can get a fair bit of distance on their throw-ins. So they can certainly put anyone in the league to the test. I'd say definitely across both the men and the women's leagues. Very, very much long distance throws which can win games. And Shane, take an example from the lads this season, of course, there is almost cult figure of throw-ins, Max Mickler of South Melbourne.
Yep.
Who his throws are good as a corner, his throws are good as a free kick, his throw at times is as good as a goal. And when it comes to this Heidelberg side, I can comfortably say it is more or less the same, both for Edwards, both for French, because they've got that distance. They can get that ball in where they need to, so they've got the accuracy as well.
Absolutely. Plus, we know how good Edwards is. We know how good French is down the back too, and they could easily set up the dam. They can easily split up the damn wall if they need to, and burst through and try and get that goal.
Indeed, even in a way, I'm shocked they haven't already, given how much we've seen of their throw-ins and just the sheer distance they can get. Because that is 15, 20, even 30 yards up.
As Heidelberg now put themselves in another good position here, try and cross in for goal here. Yet they're not crossing it into a striker or someone who can get on the header of that one. They're just going for 25, 30 yards out, and hopefully it sticks. But again, Heidelberg had maybe 2 players inside the box they could have easily crossed that into and just end up going for broke in the end.
I think that ball there from Miyata, the Japanese national, it's one of those shot crosses. It's a cross if it works out that way, it's a shot if it works out that way. Unfortunately for Heidelberg, it's the third option. It was, what were you on about, mate? Right, fantastic opportunity for Boxhill. Tings on, can she get a touch? It's bouncing, it's bouncing, it's bouncing. It's a goal! And so, for the first time in what feels like forever, Boxhill is either leading the game, they're leading here at home. What more can you want? A beautiful Friday night.
Absolutely, well done there by Ting in the end. Got through a bit of space, one-on-one with the keeper, 9 times out of 10 will. The striker does win that battle against the keeper, and speaking of which, Mia Bailey looks like she's come off second best after going to battle with Chi Ting, and hopefully she's okay, Mia Bailey, because she's been excellent in goals for Heidelberg so far tonight. It's unfortunate that she had no defenders to help protect her in that situation, but again, a great run through the middle from Ting, straight through the last defender, one-on-one with the keeper, overhead kick, overhead shot, bounces in, and Box will get the first goal of the game and brings United in raptures here at Wembley Park.
Certainly, good old Pythagoras, certainly putting their nickname namesake to good use. I figured out A square, they figured out B square, and they got C square.
As the doctors check in on Mia Bailey, and it might be her knee or her calf from where I can see. Will just
definitely leg related.
Yeah, because I think she did collide in the end with Ting as she tried to get her foot to that ball, and unfortunately, as I mentioned, she's come off second best on that one. So hopefully it's nothing more than just a bit of bruising for Mia Bailey, because again, I said she's been fantastic in goals tonight so far for Heidelberg.
Certainly, plenty of praise for Bailey. She's been absolutely fantastic. Very unfortunate not to come off the victory in that one-on-one between herself and Ting. Do hope she's all right. Of course, Heidelberg do have options on the sideline, as we have Ava Waters, as we can see, across from us, getting warmed up. And given that there's been a call for a stretcher, it's almost a guaranteed certainty now that we will see a former Boxhill player take the goals against our former side.
Yeah, we did mention that Ava Walters might see some sort of action tonight. She's a former Boxhill girl herself. She spent a couple of years here. She knows this ground very well, inside and out. And you're right, Will, she's warming up right now on the bench and she's ready to go. And unfortunately for Mia Bailey, that's the last thing you want to see, is a player being stretched off on the pitch. But we do wish Mia Bailey all the best, and hopefully a speedy recovery, and hopefully it's not too serious. But she'll be assessed by the doctors and probably taken to hospital just for a bit of scans. But yeah, we'll sort of keep our eyes peeled on how Mia Bailey's travelling too, but she's not looking in a good way right now.
Indeed, she's not, and unfortunately, it is one of the risks of the job as a keeper, as a former keeper myself. Knowing, like, if you're going to commit, you're going to commit, and sometimes that means putting your body on the line. But when you have to put your body on the line, you just have to accept that sometimes something is going to go wrong. You don't know what, you don't know where, but the risk is always there. I think it just comes down to showing how much of a team player Bailey is, that she is very much willing to put her whole body on the line, do it for the team. Because I thought football is the team sport, and you've got to be able to rely on all your teammates Unfortunately for tonight, Heidelberg's no longer able to rely upon Bailey for the next 45, given her injury, but as she said that, mate, for us here at FB, we do hope a very speedy recovery.
And this is class from the Box Hill fans and also the Heidelberg fans too, clapping off Mia Bailey, giving her the respect that she deserves, and she'll just be carried off and assessed in the rooms very, very shortly. But again, Mia Bailey now makes way for, as you mentioned, a former Box Hill player in Ava Walter, who will now be garnering goals for the duration of this game, Will.
Yes, certainly on one hand, it is nice for the storylines to see Walters coming back out against a former club. Unfortunately, in circumstances like this, where it's come at the expense of a teammate, it's not the best. But at least, if there is any positive in that situation, it is, of course, the shared admiration and respect from all the spectators here. The clap off injured player, which is something that very rarely you see in football. That's something that unites everyone. That when someone's injured, it's come off, there is that mutual respect in, I would say, 95% of games. And see that here tonight just shows that, yes, I mean, like here in Victoria, with the women's game, it is very much a tight-knit family.
Absolutely.
Everyone more or less knows everyone, which makes it perhaps that bit more personal on top of that as well. Irregardless of that fact, irregardless of those interconnected links, it's team sports. There's also that team spirit on and off the pitch, and away. That is the big positive as such an awful thing to see. And so we don't want to wish everyone.
Absolutely. I was going to say, the bad news about Mia Bailey is she's off for the rest of the game, but hopefully for the good news for Heidelberg, that might light a fire under them for the duration of this game to try and get themselves back into this one too. And they'll definitely wear the hardest sleeve of Mia Bailey on their jumper for the rest of the game.
Certainly, you can almost preempt a team speech from Lewis Freitas to his Heidelberg side at half-time. I'm sure it's going to end with some variation of bang it for Bailey.
I will say it's been a cracking contest so far here at Wembley Park between Box Hill and Heidelberg. It's, as I said, pre-game, I was hoping for this game to be really, really good, and at the moment it's been nothing short of great. Both sides have really shown their dominance up front, and it's been Box Hill being able to get the spoils so far tonight with the first goal of the game.
Indeed, it's been a cracking contest for the night, and just, I mean, what more can you want? An opening match weight fixture, then a game like we've got in front of us. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
Absolutely, and I've spoken to a few people over the last couple of weeks too, and they've told me that the NPL Women's this season is probably the closest it's ever been when it comes to talent, when it comes to teams. Like it's going to go down to the wire between now and when we get to finals later in the year too. So I wouldn't be surprised if there'll be a lot of teams battling for that top 4, top 5 position towards the end of the season. Well, it's probably the closest we've seen in quite some time, especially with the new addition with the new teams too. It's good to see the Boondawa. I also spoke to George Kasakis a few weeks ago too, and he loved the fact that there is a unity with the men's and women's program in the Bentley Greens, and from what I spoke to people from Heidelberg, and they've said the exact same thing too. There's a lot of unity between the men's and the women's programs for a lot of these football clubs too, which is really good to see too. And that's what you need in football, is to make sure that the women and the men are treated equally, and that both programs are treated with the amount of respect that they deserve, and that's exactly what they've been doing. And that's why I think that this year the NPL women's competition is probably the best it's been in quite some time.
Certainly it's been the best I've ever seen it, in both capacity as a fan, as a lover of football, but also as part of their theme as a professional within the game. It is, I mean, don't want to jinx or anything. 2024 is going to go down as one of the best seasons we've seen so far in the NPL. I reckon unless somehow that level is raised even higher, it's going to be the best perhaps for this decade.
Absolutely, and you know, we've got the A-League Grand Final coming up this weekend, which I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a cracking contest between two rifle sides. But again, leading up to finals, and I've spoken to a few people based in Sydney, and they've told me it's probably one of the best A-League women's seasons they've ever come across too. Like, who would have thought the Jets and the Mariners would be in that final four teams? Who would have thought the Jets would have knocked Melbourne Victory out in our elimination final a couple of weeks ago? No one expected that, but the Jets, even though they were off against City in the two legs, they were fantastic against the Victory in our elimination final a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, that's the thing about the nature of sport here in Australia. We're absolute suckers for finals. We're suckers for a knockout competition. And the fact that that is what crowns the champion in the season, which, in my personal opinion, I mean, as some of you might tell, my roots certainly gets given away upon perhaps maybe the vowels here and there. A few choice of words. But very much, I'm of the more traditional mindset of the best team at the end of the year comes up trumps, should deserve all the praise. But irregardless of that, the fact we see this level of quality so highly, as well so early on in the season and throughout the year, it just proves how good the quality of the product is, especially here in Melbourne, also as well as in Sydney, where it's been tremendous standards, as well as South Australia, which have been having some cracking seasons of recent. It just raises the question, particularly with next year, with the men's game, we'll see the introduction of the new National Second Division.
Yep.
Unfortunately, perhaps not getting, say, National Second League, as I'm sure quite a few clubs would have cheaply liked to have. Of course, it's been...
I do want to interrupt you there too, because Galuccio also just received a booking for what looked like a very negligent challenge there on Anvari. So first booking of the night has gone to Daniela Galuccio for Heidelberg. So Anvari's okay, thankfully too, and Box will now have a set piece to try and hopefully make it a 2-0 advantage.
Yeah, certainly a bit cynical there from Galuccio. As the free kick swung in, finds the shoulder to place. Well, the place did score last weekend. Cracking goal as well, as I apparently can't stop talking about. But it was certainly a sight to behold for anyone who was there at Cross Keys last weekend. And of course, we see a corner now as well. Played short into Butzlow. Butzlow, she's got a fair old bit herself. She forces a save from Walters. Out for another corner.
That's Walters' first bite of the cherry too, because that's her first touch since she's been on the pitch for Heidelberg in goals too, Ava Walters. So it's good that she's been able to at least get that first touch on the pitch tonight.
Certainly goes in for a bite and swallowing the whole cherry in the process. And as you're saying, very much great opportunity for Box Hill to double their lead at this stage. As we wait for the corner to be played in. It's eventually swung in there by Ellis. Just about 5 cents of Anvari. Can't be controlled. Nor could Samoro. Butzlow.
It's a good idea from Sumioro there, but yeah, just couldn't get enough power there, unfortunately, for Sumioro.
Calling. Trying to play for a beam. I mean, it's a strategy. I don't know how much success you can get out from the long term. Hudson belts it forward for Anvari. Box Hill clears like, sold it. Let's go for it. Just get up there. Let's never lose. This is going to go any time now. Butzlow doing the same. This time they do get to Anvari. Unfortunately for Anvari, caught offside.
It's the 6 offside of this first half. So 3 Heidelberg, 3 Box Hill. You're right, Will. I can count.
Oh, who needs a calculator when you've got Thompson alongside?
Thank you.
Galea dropping him back there for support off Galuccio. Unfortunately, not going to do much at this stage as we finally get the half-time whistle here at Emily Park. Of course, the scoreline is Box Hill 1, Heidelberg 0. Thanks to that well-timed strike from Chi Teng, Taiwanese national and international. As you see, a couple of the Heidelberg players rush off the pitch. Assumedly just to make sure and finally answer the big question, how's Mia? Something I'm sure we're all asking both fan and player alike.
As the Box Hill fans stand up and applaud their team, who, again, as I mentioned, they were clinical in that last 25-30 minutes last week in the 2-1 loss against the Essendon Royals. They will, but again, it's just that grit and determination of this young Box Hill team, and as you mentioned, cheating, great goal to open their account. And we haven't said this much though over the course of the season so far, Will, but Box Hill lead at half time.
I mean, the signs have been there time and time again. And, well, I'm not going to go anything further with that, just to avoid any angry messages in a couple of hours' time from mates. It's fair to say, whatever Box Hill's been doing in training, it's coming up trumps tonight. Whatever they've been trying to get right on the field these past few weeks, it's looking healthy. They're going in the right direction. So just keep doing what they're doing. Perhaps have a bit of fun in the process. But most importantly, do what's working. And all they've done in the first half, so after maybe 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, it's been working near perfectly for them. As long as they have a few more shots, well, the ball's their oyster.
Absolutely. And again, as Brian Brown once said when he was coaching the Philadelphia 76ers in the NBA world, trust the process. And that's exactly what the Box Hill fans need to do with this young team. Just trust the process and see what comes out on the other side.
Indeed, and hopefully that process does have the answers that we've all been asking of Box Hill. That being what they need to be doing to get the results they need to course this season. Given that we've reopened up the pyramid, there is now close relegation as of the last few seasons. Box Hill, they're in a dangerous position. If they slip up, well, it's actually going down for them into a very, very tough second division within the VPL. So we've certainly seen throughout this season so far, both in the league competition for them, as well as the cup, with half the quarter-finalists being from the VPL, which just shows, one, how much quality is in the league, and two, how easy it is for some of those sides to get results against teams that are comfortably within the NPL.
Absolutely, and I think what Box Hill have done tonight too has been tremendous. They've played well from the back. They've really restricted the two players who were really dangerous in the early goings of that first half. And I want to bring them up. Olivia Edwards and Nicolina Musto, they were both dangerous in the first 15-20 minutes of that first half on the left-hand side for Heidelberg. But since then, they've been very, very quiet. Olivia Edwards has had a couple of touches of the ball, but nothing to what she was in the first half of that first half. And, of course, Musto was probably a bit more quiet in the last 15 minutes.
So certainly she's been brilliant so far. When she's taken her chances to react, do something and make the most of situations. Edwards certainly started off the game very, very strong. I think she's just perhaps received one or two slightly too hard knocks, given that she has had ongoing issues with her knees, with her leg. Certainly feel like she's all right, and that's just, she needs to say, take a few steps back, just bring the play a bit more, and then respond. But certainly can go a long way. He just needs, at the same time, it's like, given that we've already seen one player come off the pitch for Heidelberg due to an injury, if I was Edwards, I can certainly understand if I do sit back a little bit and just play it a bit safe, play a bit cautious. So I thought, yes, it's great to get forward and open up these chances, but it's no good if you end up coming off injured, especially when it could have been something a bit more serious last weekend as well. Indeed, while we speak about this Heidelberg side and perhaps a couple points they need to be careful of, a couple areas where they might need to say, right, let's hold back a bit, think, then respond, instead of just going straight at it on pure instinct and inbuilt knowledge. So Michael, if you were Lewis Freitas right now, what would you be saying to your team?
I'd probably say continue the speed of that first 15, 20 minutes. Like when they were making sure it was a fast attacking flow in the early goes and out one, they looked at their best. And I think that's the one thing that Box Hill did really well in that first half was slow down the tempo, slow down the play. But I think Heidelberg just need to go back to basics, go back to that fast-paced, fast-flowing attacking, because at the end of the day, Box Hill, yes, they've been playing well from the back. But can this young team succumb to the full 90 minutes in a fast-paced environment, or is it going to be a bit too much for them too? So that's what I'd be saying right now if I'm in Heidelberg's camp.
And certainly, speaking of youthful sides, of course, we've seen FB this season, as we all know, are very much a youth academy side. They're showing all the players, their colleagues, both younger, older, and very much of that same age cohorts within the league. They're setting the standard, and not just for their own level of players, for those years where they're breaking through in senior football, getting those minutes. No, they're setting the standard a lot of the time for those experienced players who have been playing senior football 10, 15 years. So if they can do it, this young side, both in Heidelberg and Box Hill, they've got what it takes.
Absolutely. And what Box Hill have done well so far too is that they're playing through their internationals. They've played through Zoe Hudson, they've played through Chi Ting, they've played through Oscar Doyle. They've played through a couple of their internationals so far in this first half, and it's really, really good to see that the internationals are flying the flag right now for Box Hill in that first half.
Indeed. At the same time, of course, plenty of local talent within this Box Hill side, especially, of course, St. in goal, who I don't think should put a single foot wrong. Especially tonight, been absolutely stellar. Exactly what Bobby Strodowski want from her, and indeed any of his players. Has been Nicolina Butzlow, who's always fantastic out on the wing. Of course, while she's naturally a full-back, the fact that she can run and play the full wing is very much a great asset for any team to have at any level. Of course, there's also Olivia Ellis to really nail that back line ensemble. You see Marion Bari, who, yes, she might have given a few challenges here and there, to which she does need to be cautious of. While she's very much great for that aggression, energy and passion, she does always need to be careful, because she does concede one too many bookings for her own good sometimes. She's unfortunate for her, because she's a fantastic young footballer. And
also Aisha Duplessis has been really good tonight too so far. I've really loved the grit of the youngster. She's played really well tonight, and I'm really glad to see what she's been able to do too. She's held her own for most of that first half, in particular on this right-hand side of the wing here too, Will.
Duplessis, personally, I certainly don't know where she's come from herself, assumably up through the Box Hill ranks. She's been very much one of those breakout figures, especially this season. Just given how much she's shown for Box Hill, it's like all of a sudden someone's clicked their fingers, stacked their ankles together, and she's now a superstar. Absolutely,
and she's fitting fire in this first half, which is good to see.
Certainly, she's been playing like she's had an extra 10 years of senior football on her belt. Now, I don't know how she's done it, but fair play to the young footballer. The only question I would ask of the place is, who's your fairy godmother, and can she set me up as well?
Can't answer that, unfortunately. It's not my wheelhouse there, Will, but hopefully that question can get answered for you one day.
Indeed. And perhaps it'll get answered again for the place. Of course, she's had a couple of chances herself in the first half. Nothing too challenging for Heidelberg's keepers, at least at this stage. So there is signs that there could be another cracking goal for her. I said it once, I said it twice, I've probably said it at least 3 times right now. Her goal last weekend, head and shoulders above anyone in the league in terms of their scoring abilities. So a lot of great goals in that game between Eston and Box Hill. To replace, especially given her age, given her abilities, we see what she can do. It's clear that she has confidence of her gaffer, Bobby Strodowski. She's got the support of her teammates behind her. She can go as far as she likes. So will she be able to go as far as a Heidelberg net tonight? And I think, while certainly perhaps putting a fair degree of expectation upon a young footballer, which is perhaps maybe a little bit unfair on ourselves. We see what she can do, we know what she can do, her teammates see what she can do, her teammates know what she can do. She's got that support, she's got the ability. She had a few cracks already. Surely she's going to find the back of that second half. Because if anything, and if anyone deserves to score in the second half, it's going to be Aisha the Police.
Absolutely.
A little hiding hole. Perhaps just getting ready to get the teams to hurry up a little bit, get them out of the change rooms, back into the cold, back into action. So it hasn't been too chilly here so far tonight. Of course, Wembley does have a reputation of being absolutely bitter, almost as cold as Pingu's armpit. But tonight it has been, relatively speaking, quite temperate. Indeed, much like a penguin, the first group of 2s and 3s just making their way out of the waters onto dry land. As we see this Box Hill side re-emerge and getting ready for the second half action. No immediate signs of any changes as of yet. Certainly one or two orders just being continued to carry on as we see, Hudson just getting a few extra orders, a few extra, alright, do this, do that, and you're golden. No sign of any of the Heidelberg players or staff as of yet, but surely they can't be much further away, given that Box Hill is virtually all out at this stage, as we see Ting make her way back onto the pitch, as the first few Heidelberg players make their way back out into the action as well. Certainly, if there was going to be any half-time subs from Heidelberg, the figures that you might have expected are coming out in their full yellows. So, hopefully, at least for the time being, no more changes for Lewis Rees to side, where they can have a bit of consistency starting in the second half. Just gel, take out for 5 minutes towards the end of the first half as just do the casual warm-up, get back out there for a second, get the equaliser, get the lead, and just get this job done.
Absolutely, and I just want to see the formation change for Heidelberg too, because what Box Hill were able to do was able to box sort of Heidelberg out in that last sort of 15-20 minutes too. So I want to see if Heidelberg can just sort of come out with a bit more of a different formation to really put Box Hill off a little bit in the early going to the second half. The first 10 minutes, I think, are critical for Heidelberg in this one.
Indeed, it's going to be make and break. A bit like a Gary Jenga in an earthquake.
Don't mind Jenga. I'm okay with Jenga. It's just it gets to a point maybe after 7 or 8 turns when the damn wall does burst on that Jenga game.
And it is a bit repetitive as well. I mean, take one out, put one back on. There's got to be more to life.
It's the art of the game. It's like chess. Similar to the game we're seeing right now, which might turn into a game of chess down the stretch.
Perhaps going for a start, I wouldn't mind looking out to Bugio. And so finally, the Heidelberg side is back out, back ready, getting ready to make their way into formation as they break from the huddle. Box Hill already up forward, standing guard, ready to break through and steal this Heidelberg side, deal with the second half, and stay home with 3 points. I mean, how else do you want to start a weekend?
Absolutely. As all players want to try and keep themselves nice and warm too, because I can tell you, Will, that the temperature has dropped dramatically during our halftime show. So keep an eye out for that one too. That the players will hopefully try and keep themselves nice and warm for the next 45 minutes too. And even though I'm wearing a puffer jacket too, I'm absolutely freezing right now inside in the grandstand.
You're cold?
I'm very cold, yeah.
Our first foul of the half there with our assistant referee. Not quite liking the one-on-one between Edwards and Duplessis. Thought perhaps there might have been a bit much into that one. Nonetheless, free kick Heidelberg, given the chance to sort of set themselves forward. As it does look like they started the half with a backfire. Now that has shifted, so perhaps just kick off that way. Play a little bit of mind games, think, okay, Boxall's ready. What can we do to put them off? I think line up for a back five, just to start off.
Yep.
You know, you're not going to play that way. I mean, it's a bit cheeky, but it's that sort of pulling one's leg that you always enjoy in football. It's all those little moments where it's like, you know what, I'm going to take the mick a little bit.
Absolutely, and pressure is probably the key portion of this game. Is speaking of pressure.
Here comes Ting. She shoots, denied by Walters. And good, Walters is up as well.
Ting trying to go for a brace there in the early going to this second half, Will, which is really good to see. And again, she was put under so much pressure because there was a wall of Heidelberg defenders on this occasion to try and stop the keeper from going in that one-on-one contest, because again, 9 times out of 10, Ting probably would have ended up winning that battle, and she would have had a brace to her name after 47 minutes.
I mean, she already had one. Could have been easily 2. I think Walters, unlike Bailey, just was able to respond half a second early to get down there properly. And of course, avoid going down 2 keepers, which I think is a bit concerning when you see always a repeat situation. Certainly the mind can't help but drift towards, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Are we going to be okay here?
Yep. As Doy just slowly gets herself back up.
Certainly. I wouldn't want to be Doy at the moment. I mean, any knock is certainly not the best feeling any time of day. When the sun's dropped, when the wind comes in, when there's perhaps just a little bit of fog starting to drift down slowly, catch your monkey. It stings that little extra bit more, and you do feel it a bit more lingering even to the next day sometimes.
Yep.
Thankfully, this pitch is very dry, very solid. Perhaps can use a bit more grass. I'm not sure who's been in charge of mowing the pitch, but as we said first half, it's fit for tennis. It's fit for virtually any other ball sport.
I do want to mention I called Heidelberg and Moreland City's men's side game a couple of weeks ago, and the sprinklers had gone on probably 5 minutes before kickoff at Olympic Village, which was very interesting, just to try and make the pitch maybe a bit more firmer for the players. So maybe try and take a playbook out of Heidelberg's play there and maybe give the pitch a little bit of a water, maybe 5 or 7 minutes prior to kickoff, similar to what I saw 2 weeks ago, which was very obscure. I've never seen that happen ever, where we've seen the pitch being watered a few minutes prior to kickoff.
I've certainly seen a few pitches watered mid-game. So I'm not sure who started the trend in NPL football. It's a strategy. It doesn't work, but it certainly gives us all a good laugh as long as we're not on the pitch trying to get on with the game.
It's funny when it doesn't happen to you, as the old saying goes.
Oh yeah. Like falling down some stairs, or getting smacked by a sprinkler. I've seen a shot on there from Galicia. Apologies for Velopoulos then.
That was a great hit there from Velopoulos. Just hit it nicely, but it's what you want to see from Heidelberg in the early goings too, and that's what Heidelberg need to start doing now, is just rolling the dice on some shots like that, and Velopoulos doing the great thing and just rolling the dice there. Didn't work in the first time around, but see what Heidelberg can conjure up now with shots like that.
And certainly a great way to make Saropoulos have to respond similar to the first time this half. And was probably the best shot Heidelberg's had on goal all game, and really making her work to prevent the goal there.
Absolutely.
Indeed, if that's the vibe for things to come for Heidelberg, you can't but think that perhaps Saropoulos, she's going to have to be careful, a bit more aware than she had to be in the first half. She could be in for a spot of bother. Chance for a bean beyond the target.
She's been okay tonight, Margot Rabin. Again, someone you can easily heavily rely on too. And probably the one player that Heidelberg will heavily rely on, hopefully, to try and get the equaliser too. So probably the confidence levels right now will be with Margot Rabin if I'm a Heidelberg right now. But again, like Musta's there, Edwards is there. There's a few players there could potentially get their boot to ball if they need to try and equalise.
And here comes replays after giving the advantage. After a bit of a trip there. She's alright, she's carried on.
Played the advantage well there.
So you don't see it happen too often in this league, given them, and that is, of course, the need for the advantage to be perfectly on equal terms with everyone at home, or indeed wherever you are watching this game. Perhaps one or two of you still unfortunately in the office. But nonetheless, great opportunity for Box Hill. Heidelberg, I think, very much on top of things, and knew what was to come and just how to deal with it. Of course, their back line is absolutely stellar. I don't think I could say a single thing against the Heidelberg's back line, aside from, of course, the early goals, like perhaps caught off guard just a little bit too much for their own good. She needs to respond to that, say half a second quicker, to just be able to chase down Ting and just prevent the situation. Nonetheless, if that's the only thing you can say against this Heidelberg defence, well then they're doing a pretty damn good job. And speaking of damn good jobs, Olivia Edwards-Ellis there doing a cracking job at preventing the floodgates from opening for Heidelberg. A real captain's contribution there from Ellis.
And Heidelberg again, just a couple bites of the cherry, just haven't gone their way just yet, but they get at least a third bite of the cherry here from this corner kick.
At the same time, you've got to question just how big is this cherry?
It's a pretty big cherry at the moment. If you get the goal, then the cherry's gone.
Oh yes. Vera Quagmire there in the box, somehow dealt with. Bit of safety for Box Hill, exactly what they want, exactly what they need. But are not out of danger yet.
And now they are.
Naturally, as soon as I say it, the whistle blows.
Commentator's curse, Will. Commentator's curse. Happens to the best of us at the best of times.
And the worst of us.
Absolutely. Depends on who you are.
It's almost like refs are psychic. And they know exactly what we're about to say, exactly what they're thinking. So, I suppose that all I can say is, if our referee tonight, of course, Rohan Nagashore, can hear us, give us a wave, because we're on to you, mate. Certainly no need for any of that X-Files nonsense.
They're probably tapped into our commentary through the Luia pieces, our referees in charge tonight. They're probably listening to every word we're saying right now.
In that case, spinach, horseradish, pumpernickel, turnips? They'll throw them off guard.
I'm only a fan of one of those foods.
I don't mind a turnip.
I'm more of a spinach guy.
It's good for a filler.
Prefer the greens.
Bentley fan, aren't you?
Pardon?
Bentley fan?
No Bentley for a very long time. Just admire their work. But still a massive fan of the teams in the East.
So, cool opportunity for the visitors as he's swung in. Managed to march more or less up the far post. A few hands up, just say, okay, this is ours, this is ours, this is ours. Given to Heidelberg. And so, just for a repeat, switch up a little bit and just see what can come from here. It looks like it is with Bean. He sends it into the box. Just with the shoulder of Doi, Samaro tries to clear it. She's not going to get touched. It's Stolarski. Just drop the box hill.
They've had a good couple turns of that one. Just unfortunately goes out of touch. Probably the worst times for Heidelberg. But again, they're just trying to find a way to get themselves through. And credit to Box Hill though. Similar to what we're seeing in the first half too. Box Hill just happy to slow things down if they need to. Whereas Heidelberg need it, again, as I said during half time, Heidelberg just need to try and find that fast, free-flowing football that they'll play in the first 15 minutes of this game, which they need to try and get back to, because at the moment, this slower, more controlled pace, it's dictated to the home side and its advantage.
So, speaking of the hosts, chance for them to break forward. Would you please? That's having a little bit of a pointless run forward. It's like no one else is going to. Why not? So they're great to see that energy and desire. Anyone, especially someone who is very much on the up in their career. A nice little touch there from Musto. Shouts Heidelberg. More or less coming off Lockhart there. Dealt with by Statopoulos, and we'll see our first substitution for the half. And it's the Heidelberg captain Stephanie Galea coming off to be replaced. She's been switched over by the number 10, Sophie Papalia. So that is 7 Galea off, 10 Papalia on for the visitors.
Looking forward to seeing what Sophie Papalia can bring to Stephanie Galea. She's had an okay night too, but probably a little bit off from her standards too, and she'd hope now that her side can try and get to equalise without a presence on the pitch. But again, great opportunity for a player like Sophie Papalia to be that X factor player coming off the bench. We love it when someone can come off the bench and really strike while the iron is hot.
I think when you take into account this Heidelberg squad, there's an incredible amount of depth, and the fact that Papalia herself isn't starting tonight, I think it's been unfortunate. Especially given how often she does get in that starting 11 throughout the season. So it just shows if you're replacing someone like Galea, when you've got someone like Papalia on the bench ready and go, and what more you want is very much skill level for skill level match. There's no discrepancy from the substitution, which I think is great for the Heidelberg side and very much a strong boon for Luis Baritas.
As mentioned too, it's the sixth game too for Sophie Papalia too. She's already started in 5 of the campaign too, so this will be game number 24 for her in Heidelberg colours, and she's got 5 goals in her career too so far to her name too, Sophie Papalia too. So it's not a bad little record, 24 appearances, 24 caps, you like to say, Will, and 5 goals to the 23-year-old midfielder.
Certainly cracking talent is Papalia. And we can provide a bit of an update regarding the Mia Bailey situation. Looks like any need for her to have crutches tonight is not necessary, as we see one of the team marshals tonight getting rid of both the stretcher and the crutches option. So hopefully she's just a bit sore, so to stretch out, and no serious need is there an injury. It's just in the moment it's like, okay, take her off because she needs to be dealt with now.
Yep.
It gets worse. And hopefully it does remain as preventive as possible, just to make sure there is no lingering injury.
Hopefully it's just a situation where she can just sit in a nice ice bath and it heals itself.
And that shot from Rabin, narrowly over the target there. That could have been the perfect replacement for, say, a couple in European and a nice fresh glass of water.
And again, Margot Rabin, another opportunity gone begging for her tonight. It's her 3rd shot on target, and she's lurking. She's looking dangerous, though. is Margot Rabin for Heidelberg. So, again, keep your eyes out for her and see what she can do there. She's missed 3, but hopefully next chance she gets, 4th time might be the charm for her.
Certainly a bit shocked that Rabin hasn't scored already, given what we all know she can do, what she's done so far tonight. And I think much like Galea, given how high her standards are and how much people expect of her, perhaps a little bit of an off night. But at the same time, when you're so used to seeing a player like Rabin, like Galea, who does play week in, week out at a world-class standard, or as far as we can say, a world-class standard, you can't help but expect to place these tremendous expectations upon a player of any calibre near that level. So hopefully it is Rabin that at least gets away with a goal for Heidelberg if they are to score, given that how much she's worked for it. Of course, it would also be nice to see perhaps Edwards with the assist, given how much work she's put into this game and how much she's built so many shots on goal so far for Heidelberg. Sure, Lockhart will be in the mix there as well.
Absolutely.
And speaking of Lockhart, she sends one in. Rabin can't get to that. Hudson can't get to that. So of course, it's her baby.
Also to mention too that this is Margot Rabin's 4th appearance for Heidelberg this season tonight too. 41st appearance in NPLW, and she's already got 29 goals in her career too. So she'll love to crack the big 3-0 tonight if she can.
Certainly tremendous stats, given that's won effectively every other game. Those are numbers, that's a work rate that few players can match, even at the highest echelons of the game. Certainly, it's perhaps understandable why you can have such high expectations of the talent that is Margot Rabin. Certainly one of the great figures of Victorian football.
Massive loss for Buendawa in the off-season too, and massive game for Heidelberg.
Lucio just playing back into a keeper. Between the two of them, just trying to sort out the right pass, the right play. And they try to play off Lockhart. Lockhart's not quite the option. Well, everyone having a little bit of a touch there. Even Rosto's getting in the mix. Ellis knocking the ball forward for Box Hill. So do well to suppress the advance of Box Hill. There's a chance now as to see Soriaski send the ball wide. She has to replace the chase. Talk very much bang on the ball. She clears the line, goes to safety. What's very much needed there for Heidelberg. And it seems like they very much learnt their lesson before it could have really been a true punishment for them. If you see Duplessis running, don't let her get near the ball.
No.
I mean, watching Duplessis run, you'd think it's almost like she should be doing 100 metres at the Olympics later on this year. Her pace is tremendous.
And some good news too. One of my favourite players has just come on for Aisha Duplessis, and that is number 20, Victoria Zekas, has come onto the pitch for the first time tonight. So Aisha Duplessis is off, and Victoria Zekas has made her presence felt after the 64th minute, he will.
Certainly great to see Zekas takes the pitch. Of course, for all those who have seen her over the past couple of years here at Box Hill, we all know what she can do. She's a great young talent, plenty of potential, plenty of experience as well. Swapping over to place, I think that's a great pull by Bobby Zdrowski, just if things haven't quite been playing out so far, have someone who can meet those abilities, meet that energy and desire. Certainly a great call.
There was a game I called here last year between Box Hill and Alamein, and Victoria Zekas was fantastic in that game. Again, I don't think she came off the bench that time around. I think she was in the starting 11 that afternoon, but she played really, really well against Alamein. I think Alamein ended up winning that 1-2-1 in the end, but just her endeavour out there was fantastic for Box Hill that night.
Certainly most years Victoria can come on as a starter, given her abilities. Certainly great to see Box Hill have a little bit of depth in a few areas, but they can afford to have someone like Victoria Sakis come off the bench as supposed to be more or less a week in, week out starter. And certainly in a couple of years' time, who knows, perhaps she could be the next Olivia Ellis.
Absolutely.
Side. Of course, Ellis very much been almost spending her entire time here at Box Hill. Of course, she has had stints in the A-League system and at Oregon State University across in the US. Now she's very much a Box Hill girl through and through, very much a local lass. And Vari, great little ball there into Ting. Ting can't quite link up there with Doi. There's still a chance here. Ting back for Ellis. Ellis tries to send it forward. Unfortunately, Joy is offside. So we have to play on. It doesn't disrupt the momentum, doesn't disrupt the energy. Which, if it's going to be the right moment for Box Hill, this is the play you've got to do it on. Lockhart trying to break out in their own half before Heidelberg. Plays off Velopoulos. Velopoulos into Rabin. Rabin looks for French. French gets touched. It's with Lockhart. She's got 2-on-1. She's able to get past both Stojeski and Cooling. Eventually, the offside flag does go up. Really fortunate for this Box Hill defence, in particular, Natasha Stropos, that she doesn't have to go, oh bugger, I'm in trouble here.
I was going to say Busala got on the back end out 1-2, just blocked the momentum of Heidelberg going up forward too. So well done there from Busala to do that.
Yes, Putzlow been absolutely clinical. Indeed, so has most of this back line of Box Hill. Indeed, arguably, you can almost make a team of the week purely with defenders from both sides, given that both the abilities to play as true defenders, but also they can go at the wing. They can say sit as a CDM. They've got flexibility in how they can play and what they can do. Anyway, it's almost a shot that you can't make a whole 11 with just these two back lines, because they have been absolutely tremendous tonight. Very much a defender's fantasy today. Of course, Heidelberg, very unfortunate to concede that goal. That's really the only major mistake they've had all night. And here's Lockhart. Has a crack while the target. Should be a goal kick. Indeed, it shall be.
I didn't mind that from Lockhart. Good intention there. Saw what she was trying to do there. She was trying to lob it over the top of Box Hill's goalie and just couldn't get it there in the end to Lockhart, unfortunately. So there's a couple of opportunities and a couple of options she could have gone for there. She opted to try and go for the lob over the top of the keeper. Didn't come to fruition. There were about 2 or 3 Heidelberg players that she would have easily had the small pass to, the small quick tap of the ball, and who knows what it could have made of that one too. But again, Heidelberg lurking, just have not been able to get a ball into the back of the net as of yet.
Lockhart, indeed, it's been absolutely tremendous tonight. Very unfortunate not to challenge Sophos even more than she has so far this evening. Very much been a critical part of this Heidelberg side for many seasons now. Absolutely brilliant footballer. Hudson snuffing out the Heidelberg advance there. Some aid from Butzlow just to make sure they get out and gone. Very much a war of attrition between these two teams, in particular within this half. They just can't break out. In a way, it's always like watching a game of rugby. You can't rely on possession alone. You can't rely on just going in there for the shots. You've got to force your way up there. You've got to fight for every inch of the field. I think, I suppose going back to an early comments towards the start of this game, how high the quality of the NPL has been this season in particular. and how it can just only get better with the inclusion of our A-League talents very, very soon. It just shows how good this fixture is, even between a side that's been struggling and a side that's been a little bit up and down in terms of consistency.
You're right, it's been a real yo-yo season so far for Heidelberg this year, and again, Box Hill starting to find some form of consistency. Remember, they only got their first win of the season a few weeks ago against Alamein, and a really hard-fought win for Box Hill, and this could be potentially the win that Box Hill need to really just get their season up and going again and back on the right track if they can knock off Heidelberg, who, as I said about 5 seconds ago, just had a real yo-yo season so far.
Certainly, watching this game that's gone through tonight, the fact these two teams are in such position, description-wise, and just seeing what's in front of us, if that's the bit that's lacking in terms of success this season, those at the top, it just shows how brilliant it's been to watch and enjoy as football fans. Real treat. Indeed, we're coming in for another treat here. There's a shot. Just trying to wait to see who's going to get the credits there. Now, it was Joy who technically got the last touch.
That was incredible.
But given that it was a deflection, will that count as getting the goal?
I think the Heidelberg players are questioning the official. They thought that if it did come off Joy in the end, they did say that she might have been offside, but the Heidelberg players are not happy with the call there, Will. And while credit to Box Hill, they're now 2-0 up, and well, that offside that they thought it was going to be has gone begging because the officials disagree with what they've said. So, a bit of frustration there from Heidelberg, and credit is due to Box Hill. They now lead 2-0, and they've really got their momentum going this way now in the 73rd minute, and now makes the bridge oh so difficult for Heidelberg to climb out of, or to climb off, I should say.
Indeed. But in a way, given that bit of controversy, just how grieved they're feeling right now, if anything, it's just showing the arm that they need. Just get that adrenaline and just get them guys like, right, job's on, let's get it done. So in many ways, this Heidelberg side could be even more dangerous for Box Hill to deal with, given that raised emotional states. And so we'll have to go back over the replay to see who had the shot on. I didn't have the greatest angle in the world. But for the time being, we'll sit with Joy for the credits, given she did have the last touch technically. But again, just clipping the shoulder, I don't know how well we can credit that as a goal. But regardless, 2-0 for Box Hill. To the lights. Again, a little bit of controversy in a dangerous area, but this time, free kick for Heidelberg. They can make it 2-1 here. And you think, if that ends up being the final score tonight, surely they'll go away thinking that should have been a draw. If they get the goal, of course. And that's what tonight's going to hinge on. Can they get there first? But you're going to give anyone the opportunity to do it, as it looks like it is Rabin step up and take the kick.
So we tried to go to the replay a little bit, Will, and you and I have looked at each other. We have no idea who that came off. So it's either going to be an own goal or it's going to be a deflection courtesy of a Box Hill player. So yes, thought we tried to go for a closer screen, and unfortunately it's a bit of a stalemate between you and I.
And here comes free kick from Rabin. Denied by Salopoulos. Bit of a stumble.
Oh, jeez.
She is tickety-boo. But there is a potential injury there as Lockhart went in, had a little bit carelessly, a bit unnecessary. Just avoiding, it's like, mate, don't do it again. And just cool it down a bit. Don't know if there's any serious contact. Just might have been a little bit of a touch. Hopefully, we're not about to see a second keeper being substituted. And indeed, speaking of substitutes, Anyway, Box Hill gets back underway via the throw. As we confirm, at least one of that triple change was number 23, Amina Sharifi. We can also add number 13, Emily Hayden, to that list. And we can also add the West Australian Cameron Rio to that triple change sub. And so, to finally confirm for you all that triple substitution from Heidelberg, it is French 2, 15 Edwards and 17 Mutso off. 4 Mario, 13 Hayden and 23 Sharifi on for the visitors. And so with that triple change, perhaps a sign of a bit of desperation from Lewis Breeze's bench, given how reactive a triple substitution is, of course how uncommon it is to see things. Very much into the final 15 here as Samoro breaks past the fullback. Can't stand on her feet, but still just about got control. Can't link up the pass. Cooling, not quite fast enough for support. The Bean's going to chase forward. Gets past Soyeski. Gets the pass into Sharifi. She's onside. She has a crack. Wide of the target. So that shall remain Box Hill 2, Heidelberg 0. So we've been lined herself up to the corner. She's got a few options in the box that she go to. Sharifi perhaps being the best call, given that she's getting plenty of space. And it goes a little bit shorter. It does eventually get to the middle of Sharifi, who's under pressure now. She can stand on her feet, she might be in for a chance. No, dealt with by Doy. A nice little clearance there. Going very much in the direction of the Box Hill presence. Sure, that was very much accidental from the Heidelberg midfielder. Unless one or two giggles from the local media team as they look over their boss. Hudson opting for the long ball forward for Box Hill. Can't keep it in play. So, throw for Box. Cracking clearing ball there from Ting. Doesn't it with Anbari, not directly, but with her nonetheless. All she needs to do is break the last defender. Can't get past Lucio cleanly. Knocked forward by Hudson. Cleared forward by Barrio. With Bean, a delicate touch there. And clearance gone wide is throw for the Burgers. Blucho looking to go long. It's a fine Ellis. Judge handball waved off by a referee. Walters. Plays short into our fullback. Looks and finds Galopoulos. He's very much under pressure. Should just be able to carry on here. Couple players down, as if someone just shouted bundle. Corner ball swung in, can't get past the near post. Cleared by Butzelo. Out for a throw. It's very much now in the final 10 minutes of regulation time. It's with an eerie silence has come over here at Wembley. Looks like our hosts will be making a substitution. It will be number 5, Carola Terry, coming onto the pitch. With number 10, Mariam Anvari, making way for her. So that's 10 Anvari off, 5 and Terry on for the hosts. Sueski, go for a bit of a run. Free kick. Give them away a box. Almost everyone's going up forward. So much high level commitment from Box Hill. Just have a crack, try and get a third. No one can get a touch though. Bit of miscommunication there between Samora and T. Looks low. It's full for Leteri. Leteri's got space. Can she swing the ball into the box? Instead, opts for a shot herself. So it doesn't hurt to have a crack. It is wide of the target. But given there's a little bit of contact, that shall be corner for Box Hill. The first for some time. Ball swung in, over the near post. It's a bit of a scramble. Can we get a third here? No controls. And it is Box Hill 3, Heidelberg 0. I have to say, just who got the final touch there for certain. I was just trying to check on who got the touch here and there. Does initially seem like it was number 27, Nicolina Butzlo, who did have the final touch. However, I'm not sure how well the replay will help us here. So it was very, very messy, as if everyone was stuck in the som. Free kick awarded for Heidelberg. As we're just about to break into the final 5. Fourthless. Can't quite get far enough to reach Sharifi. The switch. Ellis intercepting the advance of Box Hill. Plays through DeLuccio. Leteri, caught offside. Shaw with Bean finds Mieta. Chance here for the visitors. Can they get that touch? Denied. And caught offside. Not entirely too sure about that one in the moment. Of course, do have to trust the assistant referee does have the superior line of sight. Unless it is offside, what it could have been a very, very promising moment for Heidelberg. Again, they haven't had a great deal to be cheerful about. Free kick awarded in the foul against Doy. Bang on the halfway line. So again, it looks like we're going to see this Box Hill side just commit numbers, get up there, got nothing to lose, got an absolutely healthy cushion of 3 goals. And given the amount of time left here at Wembley tonight, why not commit numbers forward and just go for it? As the free kick is swung in, it bounces off the head of Galuccio. Controlled by Lettieri. Tries to play back for Cooling. Finds the move for Lopez. Lopez playing back into Galuccio. Guerrero tries to send it along up the wing. That pays out for a throw. So that Butzlo's just having to breathe over, taking her time. As he certainly seems to receive a bit of a knock there. Calling for a substitution as well. So not exactly certain how much contact there was there, but she's clearly in a fair amount of pain. Perhaps he's going to change up Bobby Zorowski's substitution plan, given that there was one almost exactly lined up prior to the incident. Unless we do have a substitution. As Butzlo isn't allowed to come off. No, carrying on. The rebel substitution stands. Well, that's it. So like too many bodies back on the far side line, not the side, but no, it is definitely Butzlo who has come off, given the injury, so I think she's all right. It looks like it was number 16, Olivia Johnson, who's joined us for the final few minutes here at Wembley. And so 27, Butzlo off, 16, Johnson on for Box Hill. Lopez plays into Tor. Tor opts to play back towards the keeper until Galuccio comes in, and she's a bit closer. There's a 1-2 with Tor properly this time. Tor, Lopez, can't quite get the touch she needs. Ting, it's Samoro. Off Lopez, back of Burgess as Pereiro plays off Viata. Bean tries to send it along. Can we get in here? Can the visitors get something from tonight? Swung into the box. Suriaski clears the line. Viata has a crack herself. Comfortably in the gloves of Statopoulos. Certainly had a cracking game this evening. As we're now very much into injury time here at Wembley. Hopefully you're all caught the ball official's board. Unfortunately we did miss it in the moment. Very much one of the hazards of the job, if there were any, from a commentary position at least. Free kick swung into the box for Box Hill. But being heads it slightly clear, not entirely out of danger. Cooling as a crack from range, wide of the target. But not like it particularly matters at this stage, given that it is very much game set and match as much as things can stand. Samoro plays into Doy. Doy's the crack, just wide of the target. Certainly a cracking attempt there from the Japanese national. Presently is with Tor. Looks long. It's knocked off the boot of Sharifi. They try to find Velopoulos. Ellis is there. Too fast, too quick, too organised. Sidopoulos knocks it forward. It can't get further than Rabin. Which is his aid on the arse. Just keep it controlled with her side. Sakis knocking out of play there. So we shall see a throw for the Burgers. This will have just about 3 minutes extra played here. Lucio. Tor. Back into Lucio. Can't find Shirafi this time. He's with T. Who does well just to break into the opposing half. Only to meet the firm wall of Galuccio. And so with that is full-time Wembley Park here. And for the first time within the space of a month, it is not just 1 point, it is 3 points going to Box Hill. What has been a very, very well fought game with some cracking goals and true display of how deep the talent is within this league. Of course, commiserations to Heidelberg, who look like perhaps the better side in the first half. Very unfortunate to go down to 3 goals in the second. So perhaps not aided by the fact that Mia Bailey, their keeper, was forced off due to an injury. Of course, we do reiterate our hopes here from FB that she's all right as rain in the morning and she'll be back in action in no time at all. Otherwise, from all of us here at Wembley Park, that covers things tonight. And so, on behalf of Michael Thompson and myself, William Bennett, that's all we've got here tonight. And until next time, cheerio.